Hello, this is Alec Kerr of the Conway Daily Sun with a special return guest. Hi! It's been over a year.
So crazy. If you don't know who I am, I'm Nikki. I was on Magic in the Valley, and
now she's famous. She can be heard nationwide.
I can be heard nationwide. It's kind of weird, though.
Yeah.
It is. It's a little
How
weird.
many? 2 million listeners?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're just going to be seen by 50 people here or something.
No, I'm not! There's more! Okay, maybe 50.
Maybe 50.
But I love you, 50. Thank
Yes. And I'm sure that they'll be very excited to see you again because they don't want to see me. They want to see you. And we're here to talk about Scott Pilgrim versus the World, which I've seen for a second time because I just love it so much. I've seen a lot of movies this summer. It's probably my third favorite movie of the summer behind Inception and Toy Story 3.
Which I haven't seen Inception, but I've heard great things.
Yeah.
And I've seen Toy Story 3, which was phenomenal.
Yeah.
And Scott Pilgrim versus the World has to be, like, up there.
Yeah.
It was so great.
So, basic premise here is you got Michael Cera as the title character, Scott Pilgrim. Mm-hmm. He's nursing a broken heart for over a year, and he's dating a 17-year-old high school girl named Knives Chow, which is just a fantastic name.
That is a pretty good name.
It's a pretty good name.
Knives Chow.
Knives Chow, played by Ellen Wong, and she's just adorable.
She's good. I mean, I've never seen her before.
I think this is one of her first major roles.
And she did a great job with it.
She did a great job. But then he meets the literal girl of his dreams, Ramona Flowers, played by Mary Elizabeth. I can't remember the last name.
Oh no! She was great. She was great.
She was great. Put the name here. The name was right there.
There you go.
And must literally fight for her love by battling the League of 7 Evil Exes.
Wahaha! There's actually 7 of them.
Actually 7 X's, and it's in like 16-bit video game style.
It's good times.
With comic book style bams and smashes, just like in the old Batman series, but 100 times better.
Yeah, well, because we have the graphics now.
And it's just, so the visual texture of this movie is just amazing. There's just always something on the screen.
Yes. And if it's not on the screen, you definitely hear it throughout the soundtrack.
There's definitely like video game sound effects. It even opens with the Universal theme song in like the 16-bit video game with the logo in 16-bit, which is you get set right from the beginning. You know exactly where you are.
And I think the thing is, when going to this movie, when seeing this movie, you have to go in thinking this is not going to be in the regular everyday world that we live in.
This is a hyper reality.
Exactly. It is very gamey. Cartoony.
Right.
And it's stuff that you would never see in the real world.
No.
And things that wouldn't happen in the real world. But it's very creative.
Right.
And it works.
And it's never explicitly said within the context of the movie that this is all in Scott Pilgrim's head, but you can make that assumption. It's pretty clear that he's not literally, when he defeats these X's, they don't literally turn into a pile of coins.
No.
I think it's a safe assumption that that's just in his own mind.
Yes.
Although I guess apparently some people were confused by that, because I did read a review from a critic in his 50s who was just like, where is he getting these superpowers? How is he able to pull a sword out of his chest magically? Where is he getting... And it's like, it's not real, buddy.
No, and that's the great thing about this movie. But I think it's hurting it, and I highly suggest you go and see it, because there's not a lot of, the viewership is low, because I think that's the thing, is that not too many people are realizing that. It is a great movie overall. Go into it thinking that, and you'll be safe. You'll be fine coming out of it.
You just have to understand it is this comic book video game reality, and it plays on those rules.
Yes.
And within those rules, it makes sense. And yes, if you are a geek, or you can get in touch with your inner geek, you'll definitely appreciate this movie. But if you go in expecting it to be a traditional movie, it's not going to work for that.
No.
This is very much a hybrid of video games, comic books, anime, rock and roll musicals, and then a romantic comedy. Essentially, it is a romantic comedy, just with all those things layered on top of it.
And you said the music, and the music definitely makes a part of it.
The music is a huge part, and Beck contributed a lot to the score, although the actors play the songs.
Yes, which I give them even more talent for that.
And my favorite band member is Alison Pill as the drummer. She is so dry and so deadpan.
Yes.
Like she cracks a smile like once.
Yes.
The rest of the time she is completely straight faced.
She is jaded.
Yeah.
And
she is just
love
upset. and then just the rest of the cast, like Kareem Culkin, who hasn't really been seen in a movie since like Igby Goes Down, which is a movie I also love. He is so funny and also in very, very deadpan as Scott Pilgrim's roommate.
Great, and it was a great choice as a roommate because he very much is kind of like Scott Pilgrim's Jiminy Cricket. Yeah. Like, he's kind of like his conscience a little bit
he's a very good friend to him. He's just, like, loyal there, listens to him. Even when he's, like, trying to kick him out of the apartment, he's still like, oh, man, I'm sorry. I mean, I can't... I don't want to do this to you, but...
I gotta let you go. Out of here.
Get out of here, you know.
Yes.
And then the X's are just, you know, the major ones are Chris Evans as, like, the ultimate arrogant action movie star.
Which works so perfectly.
With his whole bevy of stuntmen who do some of the fighting for him. Yes. And then Brandon Roth, former Superman, as this dim-witted bass player who is a vegan, so he gets psychic powers. If you're a true vegan, true vegan, apparently you get superpowers.
No, I highly doubt it, but whatever. I like my meat, so I'm not going to be psychic.
Yeah, and then, of course, the big one, the final, the boss level. Jason Schwartzman. Who's just so fantastic. And really, like 5 years ago, 10 years ago, he could have very well played Scott Pilgrim, but I think he's gotten to a place where he can go to this other side and play this darker side, and he's just so funny because he puts on this faux niceness that's really just nastiness. Exactly. And he's so cocky and so arrogant, and it's just so wonderful.
Oh yeah, so I would say my choice, my vote, and I know Alec, I'm speaking for Alec here, go watch it. It is great, and it is enjoyable, and, you know, overall, just a wonderful movie to go and check out.
Even if you don't like Michael Cera, because I know there was a big backlash on Michael Cera, love-hate thing. A lot of people say, oh, he's very one-note. I don't think he is. I think he has a great line delivery. He just has perfect timing. But even if you're like, Michael Cera,
go for the rest of the cast.
Go for the rest of the cast. And go for Edgar Wright, who is the director and co-writer. He did Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, the TV series Spaced with Simon Pegg. And he's the real reason to see this. He brought this all together, all these different levels. He brought it all together. And so even if you hate Michael Cera, go for Edgar Wright as the director, because he makes this work.
He does. So go see it.
Go see it.
So I'm Nikki.
And I'm Alec. Keep watching.